I begin to speak only when I'm certain what I'll say isn't better left unsaid. Cato make the mind tougher by exposing it to adversity. To be calm is the highest achievement of the self. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. We should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control? You will also enjoy our article on self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius. External things are not the problem. It's your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. Marcus Aurelius. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. To be even-minded is the greatest virtue. Heraclitus. Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Marcus Aurelius. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. Marcus Aurelius. Your perspective on life comes from the cage you were held captive in. We should not, like sheep, follow the herd of creatures in front of us, making our way where others go, not where we ought to go. Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too. Marcus Aurelius. Look back over the past, with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too. Marcus Aurelius. The rob that smiles steals something from the thief. No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen, I have to die. If it is now, well then, I die now. If later, then now, I will take my lunch, since the hour for lunch has arrived, and dying I will tend to later. Complaining does not work as a strategy. We all have finite time and energy. Any time we spend whining is unlikely to help us achieve our goals, and it won't make us happier. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Marcus Aurelius. Too many people believe that everything must be pleasurable in life. Extravagance is its own destroyer. Love sometimes injures. Friendship always benefits. After friendship is formed, you must trust. But before that, you must judge. Having the fewest wants, I am nearest to the gods. Man is mostly a collection of emotions, most of which he would do better not to be feeling. Neil Burton. Imagine smiling after a slap in the face. Then think of doing it 24 hours a day. Warriors should suffer their pain silently. Stoic quotes to motivate you: waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive. Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. What man actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for some goal worthy of him. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. It is not the man who has too little that is poor, but the one who hankers after more. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Sometimes in life we must fight not only without fear, but also without hope. Problems only exist in the human mind. Discomfort is the currency of success. Keep your intention pure. Emotions will try to distract you, so keep going. That's the cure. A Stoic is someone who transforms fear into prudence, pain into transformation, mistakes into initiation, and desire into undertaking. Be so busy building your own life that other people's bullshit is of no concern. In life, it doesn't matter what happens to you or where you came from. It matters what you do with what happens and what you've been given. Difficulty is what wakes up the genius. Common man's feeling too much is a hell of a lot better than feeling nothing. Atience will bring him more happiness than common man's power. In order to protect ourselves, we must live like doctors and be continually treating ourselves with reason. For those who follow nature, everything is easy and straightforward. Whereas for those who fight against her, life is just like rowing against the stream. We're never unhappy until we remember why we're supposed to be unhappy. All vices are at odds with nature. Many are the things that have caused terror during the night and been turned into matters of laughter with the coming of daylight. The most common act of violence is the relentless mental violence we perpetrate upon ourselves with nothing other than our thoughts, mud and changa. Nothing inherently bad in the process, nothing inherently good in the result. Marcus Aurelius, our efforts do not owe us our desired outcomes. When pain comes, it must not derail you from your set virtues. If it does, you have failed to practice your virtues by going with the hype of pain. Never say that I have taken it, only that I have given it back. No man is good by chance. Virtue is something which must be learned. You have two essential tasks in life: to be a good person and to pursue the occupation that you love. Everything else is a waste of energy and a squandering of your potential. For I am not everlasting, but a human being, a part of the whole, as an hour is a part of the day. Like an hour I must come, and like an hour pass away. Stoicism, in our day, is not strength to overcome wishes, but to hide them. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Marcus Aurelius. They lose the day in expectation of the night, and the night in fear of the dawn. There is no better way to grow as a person than to do something you hate every day. And if you want to know why all this running away cannot help you, the answer is simply this: you are running away in your own company. A single day among the learned lasts longer than the longest life of the ignorant. The man who fights for his ideals is the man who is alive. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Nothing can affect a person's mind if he chooses not to be affected by it. When you master your mind, you master your thoughts, your habits, and your reactions. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. How does it help to make troubles heavier by bemoaning them? There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. The ultimate power in life is to be completely self-reliant, completely yourself. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. Be a master of the mind, not mastered by the mind. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help and what they cannot. The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable. Intelligence consists in ignoring things that are irrelevant. What fortune has made yours recuperation. You are hurt the moment you believe yourself to be. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all, Marcus Aurelius. If you want to determine the nature of anything, entrust it to time. When the sea is stormy, you can see nothing clearly. The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that. Marcus Aurelius, man seems to be deficient in nothing, so much as he is in time. 103. It doesn't hurt me unless I interpret its happening as harmful to me. I can choose not to. Marcus Aurelius, an angry man opens his mouth and shuts his eyes. How much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the circumstances that arouse them in us? Marcus Aurelius. Belief in God and a future life makes it possible to go through life with less of stoic courage than is needed by skeptics. It made Costas wonder for the first time just how much the stoic man really wants to hide when he unsuccessfully pretends not to be in pain. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question. What fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? Think of the life you have lived until now as over and, as a dead man, see what's left as a bonus and live it according to nature. Love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own, for what could be more fitting? Marcus Aurelius. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Ignorance is the cause of fear. While we wait for life, life passes. No one entrusts a secret to a drunken man, but one will entrust a secret to a drunken man. Therefore, the good man will not get drunk. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say. The goal of life is living in agreement with nature. Well-being is attained little by little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself. If being is many, it must be both like and unlike, and this is impossible, for neither can the like be unlike, nor the unlike like. When a dog is tied to a cart, if it wants to follow, it is pulled and follows, making its spontaneous act coincide with necessity. All the good are friends of one another. A friend is our alter ego. No loss should be more regrettable to us than losing our time, for it's irretrievable. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. During the Great Depression, the philosophy of grin and bear it became a national coping mechanism. Some of the best things that have ever happened to us wouldn't have happened to us if it weren't for some of the worst things that have ever happened to us. Stoical is the best word to describe her reaction to these compliments, Emma putting up with them as if they were one of my unfortunate foibles. 14 years without a mother had me believe I could be stoic when I finally met her. I'm a bit sassy, with some sarcasm thrown into the mix, but stoic at the same time. I'm always playing someone grumpy or sad or grieving or downtrodden or stoic. As people get to know me within the industry, they know it's completely the opposite of what I'm like, because I am a hyperactive, energetic ball. To become a stoic is to endorse the truthfulness of its worldview and accept its prescription for how you ought to live, not just to like how it makes you feel. I think I'm incredibly stoic. If I have a bad headache, it takes a while before I reach for a tablet. I'm not taciturn and stoic. I've always been in love with samurais, that kind of classic idea about a hero who has a sword with an intense skill and is very stoic and doesn't talk much. I can be very stoic looking. That's just my facial expression. I don't smile a lot. I think I'm very stoic. Death and dying are things that I'm used to. I practice Stoic philosophy. As a human being, you may have emotions, but these don't need to affect your soul. The two are not one. You want to know how I'm feeling? Just look at me, and I'll tell you how I'm feeling. Nothing is hidden. I'm all out there. I cry like a baby. I get upset. I stamp my feet. I'm not stoic. No doubt, much of the joy of a great romance is the moment when these stoic heroes crack open and reveal themselves to their heroines, the only women strong enough to match them. It's not in the nature of stoic Cincinnatians to boast, which is fortunate, really, for they have meager pickings to boast about. I feel like I'm pretty stoic until I'm not, and then it all comes out. I'm basically a stoic person anyway, so I just decided to maybe emphasize that, and I was surprised as anybody that it was gaining as much attention as all the jumping about. You had the stoic Glavine, non-emotional and not knowing what's going on. You had kind of the nerdy professor in Maddox, and then I was goofy. I just kind of let it all hang out. The Fargo characters, they're the characters of my people. They're stoic, hardworking, uncomplaining, and I loved them. Philosophy calls for simple living, not for doing penance, and the simple way of life need not be a crude one. Even the least of our activities ought to have some end in view. Marcus Aurelius. Meditation betters not only the mind, but also the brain. Disturbance comes only from within, from our own perceptions. Everything you see will soon alter and cease to exist. Marcus Aurelius. The things that are essential are acquired with little bother. It is the luxuries that call for toil and effort. In order to protect ourselves, we must live like doctors and be continually treating ourselves with reason. An accident is often caused by an attempt to prevent. One man is as much a fool for shedding tears because he isn't going to be alive 1,000 years from now. We cannot have, but can lose, everything.